AJ, and I'll be going over Brian's mysteries and just explaining my thought process on how I went about them. So the case one for the van heist, I am looking for deliveries made by delivery van, and what I'm looking for is deliveries that went missing or like, and to see who handled them. Um, so for the first clue, I pulled a delivery method ID from for the delivery van from application.delivery methods table, and after that I joined the sales.invoices, sales.invoice lines, and warehouse stock items, right? And this basically was for me to calculate which invoice had the largest line, not the line, what am I, had the largest discount. Basically, just comparing what a product should cost versus what it was actually sold for. And that was by dividing the price difference by the catalog price to find the discount ratio, and made it into a decimal just for easy access to read it. And once that happened, I sorted it by the highest discount and make sure made sure that it pointed me to only one invoice. And after I got that invoice, I realized that the person ID was 8, and that got me the answer. For case 2, this was the ghost orders. Here I was just finding customers who placed orders but they never got their invoices, and by checking which customer had the most unbilled orders and which salesperson handled them. And this was kind of a similar one, and this one there was only 2 clues. I mean, sorry, 3 clues. And the way I went about this was by joining the sales orders with the sales invoices using a left join. Basically, that's because we want all orders and even the ones that don't match an invoice. Then I filter them by using a where, um, to check for where the invoice ID is null, to show like only those with missing matches. Then I limited it to recent activity, so by using the date add minus 30 to check the most recent, like, so the last 30 days. This is what it checks. After that, I grouped the data, my customer ID, and used count to see which customers had those missing invoices, and basically shows me who's who's the guy, who's the guy making these problems. After that, I joined the sales.customers to see those company names, and the application.people to identify which salesperson was even responsible for this, right? Um, yeah, that was my notes on it. And for case 3, called selling on empty, this one we're just looking for items being sold, even though like the warehouse is already low on stock. And this one I began with warehouse of stock item holdings, which basically tracks how much inventory is on hand for every product. And then I joined that to basically add like product names to every single ID. Then I just created a calculation, just calculating the quantity on hand and the reorder level, and the difference between those numbers is basically whether an items is below the level where it should be restocked or not, right? And then I called it deficit. After that was pretty straightforward, and I sorted it by the largest deficit to find the most urgent restocks. Then I took one of the low stock items and joined invoice lines with invoices to check if it was still selling recently, and it was. Even though the stock was below the reorder level, orders were still going out, right? And finally, I joined the suppliers and the warehouse stock items to figure out which suppliers provide us that product, and then it just showed me It just showed me which supplier provided that product in the end. And also for this one, it showed me two answers for the item ID with two possibilities, right? And one was 86, and it could have been one of the answers as well. Well, there were two answers to the problem basically. And for case 4, purchasing order similarity. Here I was it was about duplicates actually. Duplicates with with duplicate purchase order numbers, right? Where when the customer reused the same purchasing order number multiple times, it like it, it could mess you up, right? And then that's what I was checking for, which ones they were. So to figure that out, I grouped sales orders by both customer ID and customer purchase order number, and also I added the halving count greater than 1 to show like only the duplicates. Then this filtered out everything normal and leave just like the repeated numbers. Then I sorted it by how often each purchasing order number was used, and joined invoices customers to check whether those duplicates resulted in actual invoices. And it was simple, pretty straightforward. Got my answer. This one was pretty tough. The slowest lane. Here I was looking for which delivery method took the longest average time between an order being placed and the invoice being created. And I remember doing this by joining sales.orders, sales.invoices, and application.delivery methods. Same thing, I used the date differential to see how many days passed between each transaction. Then I grouped by delivery method and average the results by using the average between those days. This basically ended up giving me the what was it? The delivery methods that were like basically ranked by how fast they were, from fastest to slowest. After that, after finding the slowest one, I basically was filtered out invoices, and I joined the customers to find a specific customer who experienced that slow delivery. And yeah, those were the 5 cases. And yeah, they were tricky and good career skills, because it kept me double checking every question, every answer through the database, to double check which exact one I was looking for, right? Which exact slow delivery method I was looking for, which is I have to declare 3, as I found from this one. Thank you.
Mhm. Make sure everything's all set up. Is this in view? It is perfect. Alright, hello. Just like AJ did with mine, I will be presenting AJ's stuff. So we'll be going through the 5 queries that we chose. The first mystery is going to be: a student at Queens College had their linear algebra notebook stolen while studying in the 4th floor of the library. There were 2 people near his desk when the student stepped away. Find out who stole his notebook so he can study for the exam. Um, a nice mystery. Some information we're getting from is at Queens College, so we know the location of where it happened. There were 2 people near his desk, and then you just gotta find out who stole it. And then real quick, I just want to show the database is. So it's going to be crime scene, people interview, surveillance, and final confession. So we'll be picking from the crime scene for now. Um, we just want to see the location of it as well. So Queens College, he's able to kind of put down or filter out everything. Here we go. So we have, let's actually change this. Run it one more time. So we'll be seeing theft, Queens College, a student, and the notebook is stolen while he's in the bathroom in the 4th floor library. Person saw 2 people by the student desk. One had a blue hoodie, the other had a backpack with cartoon patches on it. So we already got some clues. So we're gonna select from the people just so we are able to see. Here we go. So let's look for blue hoodie, which is number 4. So we're gonna make a little thing equals 4, and then IDs for the book bag in question is gonna be 5, 6, 7. All right. So now, really next thing to do is gonna be looking through the people interviews. Let's go to this. Person ID number 4. I was just next to the desk. I had nothing to do with it. Asked the front lady. So here we're gonna go back to the people here, just so we're able to see the front desk lady with glasses. So we don't know who they're talking about specifically. In the other query, it doesn't have any names. So we want to come back here to see who they are. Let's see. Angela, no. Amanda, let's see. Library, ooh, that's a clue. Glasses, boom. This is probably the only person she's talking about. Nobody else has the glasses and their accessories. So number 3, go back to interviews. 3. Yes, the student with the blue hoodie did inquire about a room for a meeting. He had nothing in his hand. So from that already, we can kind of think that nothing happened there. Um, so we're gonna filter out the blue hoodie, but we are gonna look to the other ID. So 5 is, do we have 5? Nope. We have 6. We do. Whoa! I was just standing there. I was rushing to study group 5 to study for my exam. And at 7, I was in a Remington Hall the whole day. Let's see. We got through pre interview. Let's check surveillance to see did anybody go through that. So let's do surveillance. Cite that through. I did not mean to put that there, but that's okay. 5. Nope. 6. A student was seen rushing out showing a book to his friends and laughing. Very suspicious. So let's go through this. If I can spell, that would be very nice. Uh, let's go. 6. I didn't study it all for the exam. I need to pass this exam. Boom. So it turned out to be ID number 6, which is gonna be Jacob. Jacob stole the notebook so he can study for the exam, which he did not prep for. Not good. Not good. Alright, second mystery. A TA for French learning at Queen's College, clue, is rumored to be giving out quiz answers for exchange of money. Find out if the rumor is true. Alright, so let's see. Is this true? Let's go through Queen's College. Queen's College. This is bribery, money. So, two people, nope. There is an alarming rumor that a TA in the language department that is given quiz answers beforehand if students pay a fee. TA was filtered out to be the language department under a professor teaching French. Alright, so the next logical thing to do from this would be going through the people. And in the department, we want to see French. So we have language arts French. Okay. And then we also have 6 people, I believe. 4 people. Sorry, 7. Um, 6. We have 3 professors. And then we have 4 TAs. So let's kind of track everybody down. Let's go through the interviews. See what's going on here. Let's see. People. Apologize. Do this. So, what's the easier way to do this? Here we go. So we're going to select these. And then we could use inner join, but we're just going to do this just so we can see from here to here. ID 8 We have 8. I don't give quizzes out. I only do exams. Since this is going to be a quiz one, we can just cite that out. Richards, you're out of the question. Professor Cynthia, ID 9. Oh, yes, I have 2 TAs. One is Addison and the other, I forget his name, but he has a black hoodie for most of the days. All right, check that out. Black hoodie. Topher. So Topher does it with Allison. Let's look at the last professor, see if there's any clues. I have heard of the TA rumor. They are Topher and Dan. I hold them to the highest standards, so I firmly believe the rumor is just a rumor. Topher is working with 2 professors, and then we have Dan. So here we go. So we're gonna go look at the most suspicious people here is gonna be 13 and 14, which is Topher and Dan. So we're gonna go look at 13. I'm already busy with schoolwork and helping the 2 professors. I wish I had the time to run something like this. And then we do have Dan at 14. I have heard there was an incident involving Joe. I don't know him, but I heard him and a student got into an argument at the library. This is very interesting. So Joe has, let's see, nope, even if I did, the professor changes the exams every semester. Let's see, did he have any altercations? Accident, Queens College. 2 people were seen arguing. There was an envelope being exchanged between both of them. It got so heated that faculty had to get involved. A witness added that there should be cameras that captured it. So, another clue, we do have a surveillance. We do have a surveillance that is being quoted here. It's cameras. So we're gonna sift through, of course, crime scene. Just the easier way to do it. And we're gonna make this easier for ourselves. We're gonna put in the date as well. So it's gonna be 24. It is 10:10. Let's see this. 2 people arguing. All right. I just did that. So we're gonna go surveillance. Here we go. Angelo seen trying to give Joe and a guy in a polo shirt an envelope, but he was rejected. As this argument rose, the gray shirt ran off before an intervened. This is going to be person ID number 2. So, let's see. We have nothing else. We already interviewed Joe. Nothing came out for the gray polo, because if we looked over here, that's going to be Dan. Dan didn't say anything from here. So let's go 14. All he said was, I have heard. So he didn't apply anything. He just gave a different type of rumor. So let's go to final selection and see final confession. Let's see what he said. So we have 2 people done this already. I'm gonna get this. Joe got in the way. It was going so smoothly. So we hear Dan right here is gonna be the culprit. Mystery number 3, we could move on. On August 17th, 2010, a rare book was stolen from a cabinet. Authorities have been able to sweep through the bookstore with clues. The officer has some valuable information to solve this. Alright, so let's look through the crime scene to see exactly what's going on. So we have our location. It's going to be bookstore. See that? Yep, the rare edition was stolen from the bookstore display. Theft. ID number 1. So looks like we have a police officer here. So let's go through the people. Queries to see any officers. And we do. Officer Jenkins, ID. What is that? 16. Here we go. So let's go to the people interview where person ID is equal to 16. So we're able to see what he's talking about. The cabinet was opened with a key, no broken glass. Whoever has access to these keys are top suspects. Gotta talk to the manager. All right. Next, so we got to go back to the people and figure out who the manager is. Let's go. Let's see here. Bookstore, manager H. 18. So, ID 18, manager. Let's make sure we're not doing anything. So, change that. There's only one key, which is in the office. My assistant was there during the blackout. I have a bad feeling about her. Check the cameras. Alright, so we have the assistant, which we don't know who that is. So the next best option would be going to people, 18, Gene assistant. Here we go, Gene number 17. So let's go. He did say camera, so we're gonna select that. We're gonna do this. What's that? 17. Spelled that wrong. There we go. In the manager's office, Gene was seen fidgeting, and the locked drawer was shut. When the lights were off and turned back on, Gene was there, but the locked drawer was slightly opened. Alright, to see if anything else pops up at the same time. Let's do this. 10:08, 17. So Gene was in there. Alright. We also have Bob was seen near the office and cleaning his boots. And then we have in the manager's office, Gene was seen fidgeting and the locked door was shut. When the lights were off and turned back on, Gene was there, but the locked drawer was slightly opened. This is what we just read. So let's go back to the people interview, see if they got anything from there. 18, of course, check the cameras. 16, nothing there. So we have John, which is assistant, that was just stuck there. So we gone through all the queries right here. So the best possible action is just going to the final confession to see did she actually steal it. So let's go through this. Where person ID equals 17. I said frozen. There was no windows, so it turns pitch black in the room. I heard jingling and heavy footsteps and got scared. Let's see. Let's go through people and see if there's any accessories that have keys in it. Let's see. Ring of keys, employee. Barb Martinez. Let's check his interview. Did he have any interview with us? Nothing. Alright, so there's no interview. Surveillance. Let's show Bob next to the manager's office and cleaning his boots. Let's go to final confession. See, does Bob have anything to say? These stupid keys gave me away. The nerves got to me. The amount of money I could have if I sold these. So Bob was the culprit of stealing the book. We were able to find him through the clues. Next mystery is going to be, alright, mystery 4. A body was found behind a cafe called Corner Cafe when the manager went to open the cafe the very next day. A knife wound was found in his back. A street camera was able to see the moment a manager found the body. An officer asked for the manager for the list of workers the night before. So let's see. We're gonna look through the crime scene, where it has corner in it, since that's the name. And it looks like we have nothing. Well, that's because we want to use like. This way we can see if there's anything around it. Here we go. Corner, not the street. Corner Cafe, which is going to be a murder on 2000. This is going to be very valuable information. 2007, 2001. Let's see. So it's very important to keep. A body was found behind a cafe when the manager went to open. A knife wound was found in the back. A street camera was able to see the moment the manager found the body. All right. So the officer also has people that has a list of workers of the night before. Perfect. So first thing we want to see Let's go to people. We want to see people. People. So let's see here. What do we have? Corner Cafe. Corner Cafe. Looks like we don't have anybody with manager. But they did say a street camera saw the moment the manager found the body. So we can actually see if they captured anything. Let's go to that. Let's see. Let's do on the dates, which is what we pulled up. It was important. I have 07. We have 02. There we go. A person is seen encountering the body in the morning. As the person ran off, their headband fell off. Headband fell off. So clothing is highlighted. Let's go back to clothing. To the people, is there anything with the headband? Pink headband. Only assumption we can make is that Giselle Gas, ID 19, is the manager. So we're gonna make quote of that. So we're gonna go back to people. We're gonna go back to people interviews and see where ID equals 19. And there is nothing. Apologize. Let's see. What person ID? That is what I meant to say. So let's go to that. Here we go. Yes, I pulled the schedule for the last night. Kevin, Alexandra, Julia, and Romeo were working last night. Myself was not, as I had a schedule a day off. So let's go through people and find their IDs again, which is going to be at the corner cafe. So we have ID equals Kevin, which is 20, 21 for Alexandra, and 22 and 24, 23. I apologize for Romeo. So we want to see their interviews for them. Alright, it's 20. I only worked midday. I was supposed to close, but I had to leave early. But you guys had to check the store cameras in the back near the shed. Kevin gave some interesting information. I checked with the rest. 21. I couldn't believe it. I was at work closing, but I left early since I'm new. The people who stayed late to lock up was Romeo and Julia. So let's check on them, which is 22. I have no idea. I was supposed to close with Kevin, but he had to leave earlier. So I asked one to stay with me due to a recent customer stalking alteration 4 days prior to today. I left first in an Uber, and Romeo was waiting for his ride near the shed. Let's check let's check Romeo's interview. Oh yeah, I stayed after Julia since my friend was running late to pick me up. It looks like there is an altercation here, which can be. Alright, let's go through surveillance right here. A customer seen constantly trying to talk to an employee with a pink name tag. The customer stayed for 30 minutes. Another employee in a black sweater was seen snapping at a customer with a kitchen utensil and forcing him to leave. Let's see here. So now we're going to go back to people and see if it matches anybody. So we can just cross-examine. Black sweater, which is Romeo. And then we have pink sweater with matching color name tag. Pink, which is still Julia. So we can link them up. Another thing I wanted to emphasize was that as well. The next step would be looking at the people's interview, as one of them did say, I only worked midday. I was supposed to close, but I had to leave early due to emergency. But have you guys checked the store cameras in the back and near the shed? We have not checked the shed, so let's do this. See if anything pops up. A man was seen trying to open the back door of the cafe. Another was walking from the shed outside the frame and then leaving. So this is going to be the day before the actual the actual crime which happened, which the manager found. So we want to see, next step would be just seeing, is there any connection to this? A collection. So the last person seen there is going to be Romeo. So we're going to do where person ID equals 23. Select that. How is supposed to react after seeing the guy come back? I grew up with Julia. She is like a sister to me. Here we go. So that's how we get the culprit to mystery number 4. All right, mystery number 5. We're gonna do at the Brooklyn Research Lab. There was going to be a big presentation, but the machine was destroyed overnight. Check with the engineer and the answers to see what happened. All right. So the best thing to do, of course, is gonna be checking the crime scene just to make sure any information is not hidden. There we go. Brooklyn Research Lab, a machine was ready to present as a prototype and destroyed overnight. The date on this one is going to be 2022 09/12. It's important. Alright, so the description does say check with the engineer and the intern. So we're going to go through people, execute, see who was in the lease and the Brooklyn research. So we have Brooklyn science engineer, janitor, intern. All right, so their IDs are going to be 24 to 26. If I read that right, and I did, so we're just going to want to go through their interviews. I'm going to start with the engineer. 24. No way was this an accident. The cooling system was fried, leading to the machine overheating without notice. Alright, so we know it's not an accident. I heard a loud hiss when I entered. I didn't touch it, I just walked out. Then we have the intern. Apologize for that. Then we have the intern. I was told to delete some test logs before presenting to the board. I was given the specific logs right before the machine went haywire. Alright. So, since we have nothing else to do, it might be the best option for the next step is to go to surveillance. Alright. Let's look to the dates. 2022 09/11. Intern was seen grabbing paper from desk before entering lab. Ring of keys were left at the desk as well. Ring of keys. If we go back to the people, every time we get an accessory or clothing, it's always important to see if it matches up with anybody. Ring of keys, ring of keys. This was for the plastistry. Ring of keys. Brooklyn science janitor, Tommy Becker. Alright. Tommy just said that he did walk out. He didn't do anything. Do that again. A loud house when entered. So, let's see. Did he have any confessions? I was supposed to be in this team. I was an intern when I got fired and they took my idea. I would not let them see the success. Interesting. So from this, let's see if the intern had any confessions as well. Nothing. So just from seeing this, it is going to be that the janitor is going to be the culprit, person ID 25. Alright, and that'll be the 5 mysteries that AJ chose. That's it. Thank you.